This is Brian from Provision Studios, and today I'm going to do a video from a client of mine from Belgium. His name is Alex Halford. I am working on an LP of his that is being mastered exclusively here at Provision Studios. He is recording and mixing down the songs on the album over where he lives, and then he's sending me the finished mixes for me to master here at the studio. So this is going to be the first in a couple videos that I'm going to use his material with exclusively to show the process that I go through when I get a studio client that is using my services only for one aspect of it, whether it's mixing or mastering. Basically, there's a process that's a little different than if they were an actual studio client where they recorded here. So when I record an artist here in my studio, there's a lot more dialogue. There's a much more opportunity for there to be more immersion of dialogue between myself and the artist, because we work together in the same room. So there are challenges here in that when you work with a client that you don't actually ever get to see face to face. But there's also some liberating things there in that they're trusting you to do your job. So there's a little more freedom there in that regard from my perspective, and that basically I get the song, I listen to it a couple times, and then I get to work, as opposed to some clients where if they record and are involved in that process here in the studio, there can be a little bit more restriction in what I can do, because they're more involved in that process. Not that that's a negative thing, but it's great to be able to do both ways as a studio engineer or mastering engineer. It certainly makes yourself more appealing to a wider client base when you're able to work multiple ways. So in this video, we have an outside client that is sending us mixes that we are to master, and this is the process that I use. There will be links in the description of the video to Alex for his album, and also his website and all, where you can find more information about him. So if you like what you hear from Alex, then please, it would be awesome if you could go look him out. Take a look at what else he has going on, and like and subscribe to anything he's doing. It would certainly benefit not just me, but him as well. So thank you everyone for your support. Let's get into the video. Hi everyone, this is Brian from Provision Studios, and today I'm going to do a video to show how I master a song that I receive from client that is not recorded in the studio. So basically it would be an artist that has gone into a recording studio, had their multi-track session mixed down onto a stereo track, and then they hire me to master this song for them for digital distribution, whether it be onto CD, in a regular standard 44.1 16-bit WAV file, or if it's going out to like Spotify, Apple Music, and the such for digital streaming. That is the process I'm going to show today. So the software I use for the mastering process is Harrison Mixbus. So this is what Harrison looks like. So when you start it up, you have basically this session startup window. So what you do is you click a new session, and then you get this window here. You can select where you would like to have the folder created in and the name of the session. So the song I'm working on today is called So Do I. I'm just going to click open. I'm going to be working off of a blank template here so I can show you how I do it from scratch. Okay, real quick here on the audio MIDI setup, if this was actually a recording session, I would take my buffer to 128 samples. And the reason being is I'm sending audio through my A to D and D to A converters, and I want the quickest throughput from my interface back to my monitoring so that there is the most minimal latency that is possible. So you want a low buffer if you're recording. When you're mixing, you want more processing power for your plugins. So you want to go to your higher buffer setting. So I would set this to 1024 samples and go from there. Okay, I'm going to hit start on my audio device. And basically what this is doing now is this is taking the settings that I just told Harrison Mixbus that I want to have on my audio, and it's speaking to my audio device, making sure that they are synced up. Okay, so when you first get into Harrison Mixbus, this is what it looks like. This is basically your mix window. So you've got three windows. You've got a mix window, an edit window, and a recording window. We're not going to go over the recording window here today because we're not recording. We are simply doing a mastering of our track. Up here on the left-hand side, you'll see here it says favorite plugins. These are the plugins that I use to master with. I do not do anything in Harrison Mixbus other than master. I record and mix down in Pro Tools, and then I master inside of Mixbus for reasons that I'm about to show you. Okay, over here on your strips, you're going to see all of your mix buses. So with Harrison Mixbus 32, you get 12 mix buses. So I'm going to close all these down. I don't need to see them. I'm basically working with a single mix bus. And again, I'm about to show you that real quick. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get audio into this session because we want to master the audio. So the way you do that is you're going to go to track and import, or the shortcut is Apple I. Then I'm going to go to my folder where I have the audio file stored. I'm going to select it. And we have multiple options here. We can add the files as new tracks or to a source list. If it was a source list, it wouldn't put it in the session, but it would make it to be a track that we could recall in the session. I don't need that right now. I'm ready to get this file into my session and start mastering. So I want this to be one track per file. I could do one per channel, and if you have a stereo file, it's going to give you two tracks, a left and a right. I'm fine with doing this in stereo, and I'm fine with it being in my session start. And there's all kind of other things here. You can do your preview here, all kind of great things in this window. I'll allow you to have the opportunity to check out the program and look through all this yourself. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing here today. So I'm going to click import. And there we go. We have a new channel strip here that has that audio. So now I'm going to go over to my edit window. I use the shortcut. You could click this edit button right here, but I do Control M, which brings me to the edit window. So that's the shortcut that I use because I go back and forth between the mix and edit windows pretty quick, and I like to work with shortcuts so that I'm not always reaching for a mouse. I got my fingers right here on the keyboard anyway. All right, so and I'm going to go around here to this bottom, and I'm going to stretch this out because I want full viewability of the song. So the next thing I would do is I would hit play because I want to hear what it is that I'm having to master. So I'm going to hit spacebar and make it play, or I could hit play right here from the transport play button. All right, but I'm going to use the spacebar because that's the shortcut that I use. Nice. Sounds good. Good mix. We can tell by the waveform that this is the sort of the low instrumentation, and then we see a build up here. The wave gets louder, and then again it crescendos here into a final big hit here. So what I'm probably going to do is this is going to be the section of the song that I am going to use as my master loop. And again, I'll show you the reason behind all that, but I'm going to continue listening to the song just so I can make sure I understand all the elements that are going on. Drums in. Cool. Let's get up to this point in the song here. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to highlight this whole region, and I'm going to hit the right bracket, and this is going to set my loop points. I also could do that by going to transport and set loop from selection. So again, I use the shortcuts because I like to, I may have to in any given day master 5, 6, 7, 8 songs in a day, and I don't want to be hunting down menu items. I use my shortcuts. It gets me in and out of what I'm trying to do quick. All right, so I've got my loop set. I'm going to jump back to my mix window and get my mastering session prepared. So again, Control M. Oops. Control M brings me back to my mix window. The first thing I'm going to do is in Mixbus, I'm going to enable my Mixbus 1. So what this does is this is similar to how parallel compression works, is I'm setting a copy or a send of this track into my Mixbus track right here. And I'm going to set this up to be a parallel compressor. So in my mode, I'm going to compressor. I'm going to set my ratio 10 to 1. I'm going to set my gain to about 2.5. I'm going to pull the fader all the way down, and I'll show you why here in a second. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of saturation. About 2. Okay. And then that is going to go into the master bus. All right, I'm going to save what I got, and I'm going to hit L on my keyboard to loop, play the loop. So whatever section I have created in the edit window for my loop, when I hit L, it's going to play that section from the beginning of that to the end and then loop it. So here we go. All right, so I pulled down on the level here, and this is what engages. This is the threshold for my compressor. So I'm turning down the threshold to where the compressor is going to start working on my Mixbus track. So I was getting pretty good signal there. I'm going to go down a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit loop again, and I'm going to start bringing up the fader on this parallel Mixbus, and you're going to hear what I'm introducing into the mix. And this is the secret sauce. This is why I use Mixbus for mastering. This gives me that extra level of power that I can't get just the way I do it here in any other DAW. This just has something magic about it. And again, here we go. Let's check that out. bypassed. In. All right, very good. So I love what it's doing there to kick the snare and even the high end a little bit there. It's bringing it all out. It's really making it a more dynamic and punchy mix. So that's what I want. I want it to be really brilliant and but not wimpy down below. So this is giving me a real good punch and a kick in the bass. I'm not losing anything there. All right. First plugin. Again, that's just working with natively what we have in Harrison Mixbus. I haven't even put any plugins in yet, and we're already dealing with a more dynamic, more brilliant, more transient master. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the virtual mix rack. So I'm just going to drag that right over to my master bus, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not putting anything on the track. The track has already been mixed. I'm not adding anything to it. I'm putting everything on my master bus because that's what I'm doing. I'm mastering through into the master bus. So this master bus now, every effect I put on it is going to be applied to not only the source track, but also my parallel compressed send. So let's double click on that plugin. It's going to open that up, and then I'm going to put on my settings that I use for when I start to master. So let's get this over here. Save them. Anytime I put a new plugin in or I make a move, I save it. I'd rather save 50 times and never need it than not save, my session crash, and I'm like, I just lost 2 hours of work. So I save more than I need to, and it's never failed me. So, all right. So what I've got here is I put a dual EQ on, and basically what I'm doing is I'm emphasizing 60 hertz and I'm emphasizing 10 hertz or 100 hertz. I'm sorry, and the reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to add a little bit more to my low end here, and we're going to hear what that does. So I'm going to do plug-in off, and then I'm going to turn it on. Again, from our loop point, hitting L. That's awesome. That's just magical. This is, and all I'm doing is I'm boosting a half a dB at 100 and a half a dB at 60, and it's just giving us so much power there at that low end, just a little bit, but that's what mastering is. These little moves that give us big payoff. All right, next is going to be our compressor. I'm going to use the red compressor, which is a staple of Chris Lord Algae. This is modeled after what he uses, and I love this compressor. All right, let me go to my my studio compressor settings, and now I'm going to try to get this to hit around 5 dB of gain reduction is what I'm looking for. So again, from our loop, this has the static track, our EQ, and our parallel compressor all going into this red compressor now. Very good. So that gives us a little bit of control over everything we've done already. It sort of reins it in a little bit and glues it together. It makes it sound to where like everything we've done in the low end and everything that we've done to the perceived loudness is sort of being brought together so that it's more of a dynamic mix but controlled to where it sounds like, again, we're running it through this compressor and it's gluing everything together. So that's exactly what we wanted to achieve. And now we're going to bring in our third plugin. This is basically a Magic Do-It-All plugin. It's called Golfos, and it really has multiple things that it does. And I'm going to go over what I'm going to put in real quick. I'm not going to explain the plugin. There's plenty of videos online that explain what Golfos does. I'm going to show you guys the settings I'm putting on and why I'm putting them on, what I'm trying to get out of it. Okay, so I'm going to on both the high and the low end. You can pull these red lines over, and these protect the frequencies. On the right red line, it protects the frequencies above that frequency setting, and on the left one, it protects the frequencies below. So everything below this red line here will not be affected by what the settings I'm going to put on now, and on this red line, no frequencies above this are going to be affected by what I'm about to do. So. All right. That's without. All right, so I put in a 2 dB boost, which gives us our low bass. I have pulled the brighten down to negative 22%. I have put a recover of 30% and a tame of 48%. The recover basically does is it listens to your sonic throughput through the plugin, and it tries to even out the mix based on anything it feels that is lacking. The tame does the opposite. It pulls down anything it feels in the mix that is overdone. So this plugin can really take a mix that has issues and really help you get it molded into a really fine sounding mix. So here I was hearing some harshness up top, and you can see right here based on our cue, it is pulling that out. And I was hearing a lot of that in the cymbals. And down here in our low mids, I was feeling that it was lacking there. So it's giving me some big punch there in our low mids. So again, this plugin really can do some major things, but I'm trying not to overdo it. I'm trying to keep the integrity of the mix I was handed, but yet get it prepared to rock on major digital distribution sites when it's played alongside other major releases. So let's A/B it one more time. I'm going to turn off the plugin, do some playback, and I'm going to turn it on so we can hear the difference. There is a slight pop that goes on because of the process intensity that this plugin has. So I apologize for that, but I think you guys can hear what it's doing.
That's the mix without goal false. It is bypassed. There we go. Listen to them cymbals. That's without. That's with. I mean, it really ties it ties everything that I've done before it together even more. This is like, what's the best way to say it? It is like putting the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? So, all right. Next plug-in is our Pro L2 from FabFilter, and this is the plugin I use to get my commercial level. I'm going to keep this in one-to-one mode so that we're not going to hear a level increase in the mix. All we're going to do is we're going to hear basically nothing. We're not going to hear a change because the L2 is so transparent in what it does, and that's why I use it as my mastering limiter. It's so transparent. All it does really is raise the level, but we're going to be able to hear that because I'm going to set it to one-to-one so that we don't hear a level increase, even though I'm increasing the gain of the whole song through this plugin. All right, let me dial in a couple of my settings here that I like to go to based on the song I heard in the initial playthrough. I'm going to set my output ceiling to -1 dB, which is what I normally set it to. And again, I'm going to the one-to-one mode so that we don't hear the change in the audio even when I crank up my gain through the plugin. So let's go back to our loop. Okay, so let me reset that. Go to my gain setting. Based on what I saw there, I kind of know where I need to increase this to. Let's see what we got there. Yep. A -14 dB is the threshold I'm trying to hit. I want my LUFS to be at -14.0 integrated. No, nothing higher. Again, for Spotify and for streaming, Spotify's particularly, that's the target. That's where they're saying if you go above this, you're getting penalized. We're going to turn your level down, and so I'm trying to get as close to that without going over, so that the artist that I'm mixing this for is going to get a very competitively loud master when played along other commercial releases. So based on the setting I saw without it, I knew where I needed to dial my gain in to get to -14. Anyway, I'm going to A/B it now for you guys so you can hear it. This is without the L2 engaged. And that's with it in. It's out now. And that's it. That's my mastering process. Now, what I will do, again, we've just listened to one particular part of the song. What I would do now is I would reset my counter there. I'd go back to the beginning of the song, play it through one time, and I would adjust the gain on the L2 to make sure that my integrated LUFS level stays at as close to -14 as I can. I know what it's set for now is at the end of the song, which is the loudest part. It's a very good chance I'm going to have to adjust this now, but that's the final process. And then I would export this out into my mastered file, and then I would import that file into Persona Studio One in the project window, which is where I have this entire LP, all the other songs that I've done sitting. This song will then be added to that project, and then I will export out all the songs into separate files, and then deliver that to my client. Anyway, this is really what I do for every song. These settings will change depending on the mix I'm given, the style of the song, and what the client's asking for. So, if you have any questions about what I showed here today, I would love to hear your feedback in the comment section below. Please don't hesitate to leave a comment, a question, or whatever. You can always email me at bbuck822@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Um, if there's anything else that you're seeing here that you might want to have me build on, uh, 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 or maybe even go a step back previous to this, please again don't hesitate to send me a question in the comment section, or just a comment, or email me. I'd be happy to dive deeper into any of this, even some of the settings, why I was doing certain things. I would love to explain my process and my thinking behind how I work. Thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate all your support. There will be some affiliate links in the comment in the description of this video for some of the gear that I'm using here today. The reason why I use those affiliate links is because it helps me continue to do what I'm doing here in the studio. It doesn't cost you guys anything to use an affiliate link. If you were going to buy something anyway, what it does is it is these affiliate links allow a small percentage of what you buy to go back to me here in studio, so that I can continue to build my own studio, and even increase maybe some of the products I have, or repair some of the products that may some of the stuff I use that may get broken. So every penny I make in the studio stays in the studio. So again, that's how I roll here. I appreciate everyone. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.